Hey yo YouTube, I am here to continue talking about my D&D game. In our last session, we left off where we just finished fighting against the vampires and the werewolf black spiral dancers. Um, like I said last session, or like I said last video, I start off assuming that they're um Amazons and that so I tell Beck and Nina to take the lead, and I take a step back, and right off the bat, Nina's player's like, dang it, Onyx Scar, you're the leader. I don't think they ever. Yeah, I don't think they maybe later on, but I don't think so. Even then, if they ever really got why I did that was because I thought they were Amazons and that they would listen to females more. But she starts talking to them. They start asking why we're here, who we are, stuff like that, the typical. But Amazons do end up being pretty hostile. They tell us that we're in North Califia and that we're in the territory of Queen Califia, and we go back and forth with them. We vaguely, like Nina vaguely tells them what our mission is about opening the doors and that we have to unite the Wemmicks and it's the Wemmicks' duty to protect the doors. Um, there does kind of seem to be kind of a confusion that because I picked up right away by the way Nina was talking that the door was still open, that she never closed it, which usually she does. Usually, the moment we go through, she closes the door. But like I said, I could kind of tell by the way they were talking, and at one point, like the Amazons say, well, we want y'all to turn around and go back. Uh, and I think one of the reasons the DM did that, because I thought the DM thought that we couldn't go back. He thought that the door was closed down. Because once when the gate's closed, we can't reopen it until we finish the mission. She doesn't get the signal to reopen it. And I don't remember what clues the DM in that it's open. Because, I do know that Nina's player thinks, because eventually what ends up happening is after us going back and forth, they decide, well, let's uh, let's talk to the higher ups and see what they think about it. Pretty much like this is above our grade level, and decide what they think. So they end up taking us all to wherever their fortress or wherever they stay at is, and like I said, for some reason at first Nina thinks that the Wibix are gonna stay and they're just taking us, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure they're taking all of us. And I think around then that's when it kind of gets hashed out that the door's still open, and and the DM's like, well, you've always closed it before, and he was like, well, we didn't always have a squad with us. So the DM was like, yeah, a squad with us last time, and I said it. I don't think it really got picked up, but I ended up saying like, yeah, well, last time we didn't really guard it. Like it got taken away from us right away. And truth be told, it didn't really get established if he did close the door last time. After, in hindsight, thinking back at it, uh, but we end up taking a vote, decide do we want to close the door before we leave. I say because they end up because the one of the reasons they want us to go back is they want to stay segregated. They don't want new people coming in and out. Um, so yeah, if the door's open, something might come through. So they want us to go through and close it. Uh, so I say, yeah, it being open kind of seems one of the things they're being mad about. So close it. And then after we close it, I'm like, yeah, suckers, like now we can't open it. And then like the DM kind of says, yeah, that's how it works. But we go travel. We go see her, their queen. Um, all in all, I want to say the conversation with the queen went better. The queen did kind of do the eventually she kind of did, like, she understands duty, stuff like that. There was like this one lady that was a translator, which is apparently like the only group. There's some kind of gypsies or something like that. They're like the only group outside of the Amazons that they communicate with or work with. Uh, like at one point, she explains that the Amazons really don't understand the outside world. Um, but they do say, because yeah, whenever we talk about closing the door before we got here, like I do ask if the Wemmicks are on their territory, and they're like they're kind of on the border. Some are actually in the territory, but we kind of have live and let live. They don't mess with us. We don't mess with them. Policy. Uh, at one point, like I say that maybe we should just go back through the door and come back. Come back the old-fashioned way. And Nina's like, they'll get mad if we come sneaking back on foot. Like, we need to negotiate this now. And I'm like, well, get to negotiating, because again, uh, she's a female. And both instances, because there's two times where we really have to negotiate, and Nina seems to really be pushing me to do it, and I'm pushing her to do it. Uh, me, cause, or her, because she claims I'm the leader. Me, I claim she's the face, and also she has an incredibly high charisma. Uh, Later on in the session, actually, it might be this conversation with the queen. Uh, the DM asks us, both me and her, to roll a diplomatic, and I get like a 7. She gets like a 30, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I wanted her to take lead on the diplomat stuff. But like I said, eventually the queen does say that she will agree to let us go speak to the Wemmicks with an escort, stuff like that. Um, we end up traveling for like I think a day or two, if I remember right, and so we get to the edge of the Wemmicks territory, and it's like night. The party decides, well, do we want to keep going or do we want to make contact now? I tell everyone to make camp, and me, Kotaku, and Rawright will go in like a mile in and check it out. The three cat characters. Um, so we go in, I start roaring. The DM says almost immediately I can smell Wemmick stuff, and it doesn't take long for Wemmicks to show up and like ask what we're doing and stuff. I asked if they speak my language, if they speak satire. Um, they say yes. So kind of the same thing as the last two group encounters, where the first one we meet seems really hostile. Like this one, these mimics are also bigger than anyone we've ever seen. And also, they don't really have like thick manes. Like their manes are smaller, but they're bigger mimics. Um, and like he's really aggressive. Like at one point, he even says like under other circumstances, he would push me off of his territory and scratch me up to make me remember. But all the Star Pride stuff, like they don't worship Star Pride or have medicine cat or stars, but what they do have seems to be very similar. So like he does question it, and like I said, same thing. He goes, talks to the leader, um, because yeah, we go back to our camp. We tell them that we have two lake camp not far away, and like the next day they show up, like a bunch of women show up. Uh, I want to say the typical stuff. Ask us the typical questions. I want to say their version of a medicine cat shows up, and what they end up deciding is that we have to go on. They tell us that they're gonna put us on the sacred hunt, and that will determine if their version of Star Pride we're anointed by, stuff like that. They said like far as they're concerned right now we're Cubs. Um, One thing I did leave out was that or forget to say was that the Amazon Queen was curious because, like we said, that almost every door we go to is guarded by something, and it seems like it attracts like evil beings. Um, and she says that there's a vampire lord that lives like on the outskirts of their territory, and they say he's Lord Vilmos, who serves the hidden god, and they were really aggressive on taking this area, and they didn't really seem to know why until we told them. But all right, back to where I was. They tell us to go on the hunt. They take us to a spot, and we end up seeing pretty much like the elephants in Lord of the Rings. And the DM tells us to roll initiative and let's old school DSP this. So the group starts off around here where I'm at, where Onyx Scar's at. And all of these are around here, standing around. The Wimics are at the top watching. Uh uh like I said, initiative gets rolled. Raw Rise player actually is here. He ends up getting to. I show him, since I put the character sheet in Roll20, I show him how to roll initiative on here, where you just click on your character and then the initiative that pops up in the corner. Like I said, he wins. Again, like all of Nina's players in a row. Uh, Onyx Scar, and then the mob there at the bottom. So the Wimics tell us that we're supposed to only take out two of them, because we don't want to eradicate the herd or anything. Uh, so we end up targeting this one. Uh, like the first round, like all of us hit this one. Uh, I run down here because there's one like right here, and I figured that if it did try to run, my character would like block its path, and everyone else ends up about here. Uh, Kotaku and I know Ivan. I have no idea how Ivan ends up down there, by the way, because most of the fight he's up here. Uh, I know both of them end up doing called shots on the legs, which uh, doesn't really, they don't really have anything like that in 3.5. The DM just gives them like a -2, which is nothing really. Uh, but we all start welling on this one. Eventually, when it gets to the mob's turn, like the one that was here, just does rush, like runs over like the group that's here, and the DM tells them they could either make reflex saving throw or take attack of opportunity. Uh, the first group at first all does the reflex, and the reflex ends up being like 34 saving throw, which is way too high for any of us. Most of us, I think mine's is probably the highest, which is like 14. Raw Rice might be something like that. The Raw Rice player just has Raw Right up here just shooting the whole time. So he never even gets ran over. Uh, I do know I get hit by the second one. Uh, I don't remember which angle or when it comes back. I'm somewhere where it could hit it. The first time I go for the attack of opportunity because I know I'm not going to get that unless I get a 20. I end up missing the attack of opportunity anyways. Uh, on Nina's turn, she ends up targeting this one and does the spell that she's done a few times where it it if it moves, it has to take a saving throw, and if it fails it, pretty much it runs out of breath and goes down to 0 hit points, and that's what ends up happening to it. So, like second, third round, this one goes down on its own. Um, Eventually, we all wear this one down, and there's like two of them just like mowing up, just running us over. I do end up getting a critical hit on one of them whenever I do the attack of opportunity. I end up doing like 90 points of damage. I think the next round though was when we kill this one, and all the Wemmicks run down, and the rest of the herd continues to run off, and the DM ends that fight there. And the Wemmicks come down, they start roaring. Eventually, I approach one of them. Like my character starts going boombaye, boombaye, boombaye. Um, Fan of the Boombaye Fight Club. Um, and eventually, I do tell one of the Wemmicks because they do tell us that there are like smaller tribes of Wemmicks that live on their own that are a little scattered. I believe they say they look like jaguars or something like that. And I say we have to get in contact with them, but for now we'll feast off of the things we hunted. It does. They end up telling us that every time there's a sacred hunt, then all the tribes are called, and he blows like a thing. So supposedly the other ones we're supposed to find are here. So, and the DM closes it down there. Uh, Future predictions. Hopefully, we just wrap this up and start the last group of Wemmicks we're supposed to get and get to this Wemmick Kingdom and end this journey soon. Uh, there is a chance he might throw some more vampires at us though before we go back. Like I have a feeling that that vampire lord or whatever he said is going to turn up. Beck did mention that for a vampire to be that strong, he's probably over 200 years old, something like that. So, you want to find out, watch my next video. You want to know the whole story, watch all my videos, and check you later.